FLPipe is a pipeline system developed for Autodesk Maya, built in Python and MySQL for an efficient production pipeline. It begins with tools for user management and project creation. Then the system connects the rest of the workflow: modeling, rigging, look development, animation, and finally, rendering. Now, let's take a closer look at how the system works in practice. Creating a new project is straightforward. In the Create Project window, you define the project's name, location, and optional thumbnail, making it easy to identify visually inside the pipeline. Once confirmed, the system automatically generates the entire folder structure. This guarantees that every project starts clean, consistent, and ready for production. In the Manage Users window, administrators can easily create and manage user accounts. Each user can be assigned a role, and each role comes with specific permissions that define what the user can see or do within the pipeline. This ensures that everyone, from administrators to artists, has the right level of access and accountability. Users can log in through the system interface and select which project to work on. Once logged in, all tools, file paths, and permissions automatically adjust to the chosen project, keeping the workflow focused and error-free. In the modeling stage, the artist can begin modeling from scratch or import an existing asset. When it's time to save progress, the artist uses the pipeline's dedicated Save tool rather than Maya's native one. This tool automatically stores the file in the correct project folder with a consistent naming convention. And when the model is ready, it is published. The publish process performs automated quality checks, ensuring that the asset is clean, correctly named, and ready for the next stage of production. In the rigging stage, the artist imports the published model from the pipeline and begins creating the rig. Once the rig is complete, it's published back into the pipeline. Every time an asset is published through the pipeline, the system automatically creates a new version, preserving the entire history of that asset's development. These versions can be accessed and updated at any stage of production, allowing artists to easily bring their scenes up to date with the latest changes while still maintaining full control over which version they choose to use. To help on look development, the pipeline includes a tool that allows artists to import preset lighting scenes. From there, the artist references the model, or rig, and begins building the shaders that define its final appearance. A built-in automation tool can instantly generate shader nodes and connections, dramatically speeding up the look dev process. Additional assets can also be referenced into the same scene, allowing artists to work on multiple looks in one place. The system also supports multiple look variations within a single file. Each variation can be published individually and, later in the rendering stage, easily selected and applied on the asset. To build the scene layout, the artist references the necessary assets and arranges them as needed. The pipeline also offers the option to reference multiple assets at once, significantly speeding up the setup process. When the artist opens a scene, the system automatically checks for newer versions of any referenced assets. If updates are available, the artist can choose to update all assets at once. The system allows animators to use any preferred animation method, including keyframes, animation layers, expressions, or nonlinear tools such as the track's editor. After the animation is complete, the artist opens the Publish Animation window. Here, they can choose to publish the assets as static assets or animated assets. This flexibility ensures that only the required data moves forward in the pipeline, keeping projects lightweight and efficient. In the rendering stage, the artist begins by selecting all assets published during animation. They can also reference any additional assets that haven't been animated but are still required for the scene. To help the artist keep the scene organized, The system has a small tool to create groups for the objects on the scene, like geometries, cameras, and lights. After bringing the assets into the scene, the artist selects the published look devs associated with each asset, ensuring that every model loads with the correct shaders. On the same tool, the artist can also apply any available look variations, making it easy to choose the appropriate version for the shot. Once the scene is ready, the artist sets up lighting as usual. Render layers can be created manually or through a specialized tool that generates a set of standard layers for the shot. When using this tool, the system creates all selected render layers and applies the correct render settings to each one. It also creates and properly names the render elements that will be used later in the compositing stage. After reviewing each layer, the artist submits them directly to the render farm, ensuring every frame is properly tracked and stored in the pipeline. Because the render artist generated the render layers using the pipeline's dedicated tool, every render element follows a consistent naming convention. When the renders are loaded into Nuke, this standardized structure allows all render elements to load already organized, greatly simplifying the compositor's workflow and ensuring a clean, predictable setup across the team. This level of consistency not only speeds up daily work, but also provides a solid foundation for developing new Nuke tools and automations, since every script can rely on the same naming and folder structure. Once the compositing work is complete and all visual elements have been assembled, the sequence moves on to the final stages of production, including sound design and color grading. These final touches bring the project together, enhancing its visual impact.